Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I am Lisa, here to do another reading. And I was thinking, this is going to be kind of like a post-eclipse season reflection, because a lot of like dots were starting to connect for me. So I'm not even sure how long ago it was, like maybe a year, maybe 6 months, but there was like it must have been like around the fall. But there was like these readings that were coming up, and it was like the whole royal thing. Like there was a reading called Legend of the Sword, and it went all the way back to like Arthurian era, and then there was a reading shortly after that called God Save the King, and that was kind of bringing in like energy that was sort of being reflected through the whole Harry Meghan royal drama. And it was really interesting that the coronation happened on the day of this like lunar eclipse, which I thought was really interesting, because that was like really big energy in the last 6 months, because the eclipse seasons go like 6 months at a time. Or in the last year, it's been a big energy that's been coming through, and there's been all this big storyline coming through this last year about like healing from like narcissistic family patterns, and that's kind of how that was like coming through with the the Legend of the Sword and the God Save the King thing. And obviously there was the whole break with Harry and Meghan, and I thought it was really interesting. I mean, because to me, it's like the British press has been like super just really like harsh, but when you hear their story, like to me it's just like they're just trying to self-actualize, which everyone I think should be able to do. And but it's like when you're living in the shadow of someone else, when you're the spare, like it's like it kind of robs you of that, and so it's just sort of like when you look at like the other spares and how their lives ended up, like it didn't necessarily, it kind of went in a dark direction a lot of the time. So it's like he's just trying to be happy, and I commend him for that. But to me, what really came through with the coronation, I mean, I didn't even watch it. I didn't really feel honestly compelled to, like I have with other royal events in the past. But what came through was like, there was like this truth exposed in the last season, obviously, with like Harry telling his truth through this book, and everything that went along with that, and that caused this royal kerfuffle, and there was all this drama that was unleashed, and it was just a lot, But then, like, for this, it almost seemed like sort of the end of an era, because it was just sort of like Harry was just like, I mean, there was no drama this time. It's just like they were like expecting this drama, but like he was just like, it just is what it is, and I'm just moving forward with my life, and that's it. Like he's just like not even gonna play the game, and I think that's like an important message for this sort of moment in time. It's just like all this stuff has been unleashed, and it just is what it is. So it's like it's just time to move forward, And so I'm gonna start on that note. Oh my gosh. So I just did the split, and we got the Nine of Pentacles, and we got the Knight of Wands. So this is really interesting because, well, for one thing, she's got this bird in her hand, so it's almost like this stable, independent energy is like in alignment with their truth, and they're like abundant on their own. Like this person is just, they're just in their own power, like this is a self-actualized, independent energy. And to me, that's kind of like what I was just talking about. It's like Harry, like he's just like, I'm just doing my own thing. Like, he doesn't wish harm on anyone. He's just like, that's just, I'm going this way. You know, this is my thing. I'm cool how I am. Like, I don't need your help. Like, I just want to do my thing, you know, like, and that's kind of what he's doing, you know, and he's taking like this bold step forward. Like, he showed up, he paid his respects, he did the coronation thing, and then he took off. Like, he didn't stick around to like get the side eye from everyone or whatever. Like, they've let their feelings be known, and he's let his feelings be known, and he's just like, I'm just moving forward with life, you know, like, I've got plans, you know. And that's, so yeah, we're gonna start with that energy, because I think that's a real strong one that's coming through. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Prism Oracle. Okay, this is interesting. So I got these 3 cards that flipped out. We got Energy, which is interesting. And then we got Intuition. And we got Rejection. So the thing that came through immediately with this is the whole rejection is God's protection. It's just sort of like, you know, like Harry's getting all this rejection from like the royal family, but yet it's kind of protecting him from, like, you know, this fate that wasn't for him, you know, like, I mean, look what happened to Prince Andrew. Like, he ended up being in this sort of toxic place where he felt like he never fulfilled his purpose, and he ended up filling it with, like, you know, some unsavory things, you know, that now he has to live with, you know. So it's like, maybe this is, it's like, it's a good thing, you know. Like, there's a lot of energy, you know, which is interesting, because it's like there is this fire, this bold movement forward. Oh my gosh, it's interesting, because when I pulled this up, we had the Chariot, we had Justice underneath. It's like, it's just like, I'm just taking command of my own life, and I'm demanding justice for myself, and I'm just moving forward, and that's it, you know. And then we have Intuition. So to me, this is like, there is guidance coming to, like, see you through this moment. When I picked up the Intuition underneath, we had Magic, we have Space, and we have Death. So it's like, there is guidance helping someone through this, what looks like it's a profound change that's underway. And the reading that I did for the actual eclipse, which I'll link up here, was really talking a lot about how there is this justice, like the truth of the justice is here, you know, but really we're not going to sort of see it until, you know, over the next 6 months, how things play out. So kind of like, you know, if you're relating it to the whole royal thing, it's just sort of like, everyone has spoken their truth, everyone knows where everyone stands, and it's just like, it just is what it is, and we're all moving forward. But, you know, it's not going to be in the environment for everyone to see, you know, in 6 months from now, like, as people move forward and their lives blossom in whatever way they're meant to, you'll start to see more, you know, like, out of, you know, what blossoms for people, you know. But this person, this stable, independent energy is being guided. So, okay, I'm going to go to the angels and ancestors and pick one. All right, we got Medicine Guardian, be open to healing information. So that's really interesting. And we got Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. So it's like this person who is being guided, who's like striking out on their own. It's like they have what they need to get through whatever transformation is happening. And they can trust in that. Like, they have the talents and the resources within them to get through whatever this is. And also, this change is going to be profoundly healing to do. It's sort of like, I mean, for Harry, you know, since I keep relating it back to this, it's like, it can't be healing or healthy really for anyone to go through their life under the shadow of being a spare. You know, I mean, we're really all here for a specific purpose, and we all have our own purpose. Like, so not all of us are going to find it, you know, but we each are here for a reason, you know. And I mean, all he's saying is, like, his purpose is higher than being a spare tire, you know. Like, he has something he wants to contribute, you know, and that's probably super healing for him to go out and find that, rather than to just sort of live his life in the shadow of this projection, you know, of like who he's supposed to be, you know. So that's the kind of energy that I'm getting from that. I think it's actually really it's really good energy. I'm going to go to the Transient Light Tarot. Okay. And I'm going to do a shuffle. When I did the split, just FYI, you can't really see it, but it was the Ace of Pentacles and the Keeper of Wands, which is like the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like there's this feminine energy who's like really a manifester. She's in her power. She's able to like make things happen. She knows how to channel her energy to make things happen. And there's an opportunity coming to this person. Okay, a bunch of stuff just plopped out. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is intense. Oh my god. So we have the Crown of Swords, which is pretty epic, and also like really going along with the whole Legend of the Sword era. So this is the Sword of Truth. This is Excalibur, you know, Legend of the Sword. This is it's just, the truth is just here, you know. It's kind of like what I was talking about at the beginning. It is what it is. It's like completely permeated everything. So it's like very apparent, you know. It's not just like, it's almost like the shifting has been happening in slow motion. And then it's like one day you just wake up and realize, oh, like this is the way it is now, you know. And that's kind of like what I'm getting. That's the atmosphere. But we have the Three of Swords. We have the Fool, and we have the Ten of Swords. So this is really interesting because in the reading that I did for the eclipse, the Four of Swords came out, and there was this whole message about like one person going on their own path and then their three swords being left behind. And the person who kind of went out on their own was the one that was going to have the butterfly, you know, that was the person that was going to have, you know, the blessings. Well, the Three Swords, like the person who's living in distortion, person who's not in alignment with this, like how things just are, It's like we have the Fool, which is kind of like taking a leap of faith into the unknown. But it's interesting because in this we have like really interesting artwork, and the fact that the card's split in half, and we have this light and we have this dark side. So the person on the light, and the person that's in alignment with this, the truth, they have this key that's presumably going to unlock this new path. Where we have this one person who's like sort of taking this leap into darkness, you know, which is really kind of intense, you know. It's like there's this reality check, which is kind of what this is, and it's kind of separating these two paths. Like one person, the person with this sword, which is, you know, really, this is a strong message that came through in the eclipse reading. They have this key to this new future, and then this other person is kind of plunging into this, well, the Ten of Swords. It's like the end of suffering, you know. So this can either be like a really, I mean, there's two sides of it, you know. It's the end of like this really horrible situation, which is kind of like a new beginning for maybe the person who was being oppressed in that situation. But it's like also like the person who was like falsely taking power from it, you know, it's going to be a super destabilizing moment for that person. So it's almost like there's these two outcomes, but in either account, like it's super healing for everyone involved. Like it might not manifest like right away, like the healing part of it. Like for example, like, you know, going back to the whole Harry and William thing, like there's, I'm sure, a lot of sibling rivalry that happens anyways, but especially, you know, William's gonna inherit all the like riches of the throne or whatever, you know, and Harry's gonna inherit this sort of freedom. And like that was kind of like probably a lot of the tension. Like they each had different destinies, like all along, you know, and for them to stay together, like they were like each kind of holding each other back because they had different destinies, you know. But by like them going their separate ways, it allows each of them to sort of like honor who it is that they're supposed to become. And then in doing that and like being established in that, it might, they might be able to come back together at some point further down the road, you know. Like who knows, you never know, like life is long, you know. But I don't know, I'm getting I don't know why I'm getting all this, but it's interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna just go to the Oracle of Seven Energies and pick a final card or cards, we'll see, for this reading. It's been a super interesting eclipse season for sure. Big truths being exposed, a lot got released. I had like the most like intense migraine for the eclipse, you know, the second one. I feel like I had one around the time of this, now that I mention it, because it's like I haven't had migraines in forever, but I got migraines for like both of them, which is interesting. Okay. Wow. I like it. Okay, so we got the uncharted sea. We're stepping out into the unknown. Crossing the Atlantic, you know, got a new path forward, and then we have endless possibilities. Look at this. This person is blessed. The world is wide open. It's like removing all of these blockages is going to open up like a whole new adventure. So we're right at the beginning of that, and it's like a totally clear moment, you know. It's like the wind is at your back, the sun is shining, Like, everything is possible. And we're right at the beginning of that journey. So I'm excited to see where this goes.